Hi guys, how are you today? Ready for some new drama? Let's go to the first story. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment.
This might be kind of long, but I think background info is necessary for the story to make sense. My husband and I had one child, our dear M. M is, or was, a junior in college. We always want the best for her. So last year when she told us she was pregnant and would like to keep the baby, we said we would look after him while she was in college so that she could get a good job and would be able to provide for him. Things were going really well until December. Baby Jay had arrived in the summertime and was very healthy and happy. M was going to college and keeping her grades up. I took a hiatus from my job to look after Jay, and overall, it couldn't be better. That was until I found a letter from my daughter's college in her bedroom while I was cleaning, which essentially said that they sincerely hoped that she would re-enroll for next year. Apparently, she has dropped out after sophomore year and had been faking classes so I would provide free childcare. I confronted her about this when she gets home from school that evening. This was paraphrasing. Me explains about the letter. M. Jesus, Mom, you can't just go looking in my things like that. That's personal. How dare you? Me. That's what you take away from this conversation? Re-enroll, now. I'm keeping my life on hold because of you, and this is how you repay me? M. I was just trying to find a job. It's not like I was just partying. Me. Well, you could have talked to me and your father about this. M. I don't see what I've done wrong here. Me. Fine then. If you use me like this, then you have no business living under my roof. Get out, now. I know I overreacted there, and I feel bad. M runs out of the house, leaving Jay with me, and takes the family car, which is technically under my name, and which my husband needs for work and all the family essential groceries. About a week goes by of her not answering my calls or texts, and she turned notification services off. Eventually, I've had enough. I call up a lawyer and family friend and ask if there are any legal options to explore. He says that I can definitely take legal action for the car and possibly sue for custody of Jay since she just up and left. I decided against that, for now. Somehow, my daughter caught wind of my plan and called me frantically. M. What the absolute F, Mom? I just took the car, and you know I have no money. What the F is your plan? Me. My plan is to get my car back. Jay needs you. We called you several times, but you wouldn't answer. What else were we supposed to do? M. Literally anything else. If you don't drop this suit, I'm never coming back. Me. No way, Jose. Not happening. You come back first so that we can talk this out. Then I might consider dropping it. M. No, I'm not coming back to such a toxic situation. See you in court, B. That's about all so far. I will update when I can. Anyway, I feel kind of guilty because I know my initial reaction was too much. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your daughter seems extremely irresponsible, and at some point she needs to realize that actions have consequences. Suing for custody might even be a good idea in this case. Your post does not really reflect that she is mature enough for a child. Not the a-hole. I fail to see how taking legal action when someone steals from you is too much. 1. She lied and used you. You may now revoke all help. She is not obligated to go to school, and you are not obligated to provide anything for free. 2. She took your property. Do whatever you have to get it back. You don't get to steal someone's car because you're mad they caught you lying. 3. Anyone who can abandon their kid and outright declare they're never coming back for him, just because they're mad the person whose house he's in caught them lying, obviously has no interest in being a mother and will make a horrible mother. Apply for custody, because if not, it's only a matter of time before social services gets involved on their own. Abandoning your kid is no light matter. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty or tell you you're in the wrong. She had no right to do what she's done. It's time for her to bear the consequences. Everyone sucks here. What are you doing cleaning an adult's bedroom? If she was away at school, I'm aware she wasn't, then no one was using the room. So why were you in there? Why were you looking through her things? You're the a-hole for that. She's the a-hole for not being the mother she needs to be. If she doesn't want the child, then she needs to put it up for adoption or sign custody over to you. She's also the a-hole for taking a car that doesn't belong to her and going dark for a week. You're not an a-hole for wanting your car back. You're not an a-hole for going through legal channels to do so after you got no contact from your daughter. You all need some therapy. I'd also suggest seeing a doctor. This is quite the change in behavior after having a child. Postpartum depression is a real thing and affects each woman differently. This is a rare happy update. Since reading all of the comments mentioning postpartum, Em and I have agreed that I will drop the suit if she sees a doctor about this. She was able to get a phone meeting with our family physician, and he diagnosed her with it. She is taking medicine and doing medications for it for now, and is back home. Jay is very happy to have his mommy home. My ex-husband and I share 3 children. Our oldest is 15, our middle is 14, and our youngest is 13. We had them very close together, and then our marriage crashed and burned. We were young, unsuited to be together, and we both came from very restrictive households, which pushed us together out of a sense of clawing for freedom. I dated some after our marriage ended and realized I liked being single. He remarried a little over a year after our divorce. His wife is Ani. Ani and I have a complicated dynamic. She adores my kids, but was very jealous in those early days of her marriage to my ex because I had primary custody and he had every other weekend, due to the nature of his job. I did not feel like Ani taking time while he wasn't around was a good compromise to him obtaining 50-50, and a judge agreed, stating since Dad would not see the kids during that time, it made sense to keep them with Mom, me. 2 of my 3 kids were not super affectionate in general, but were with me, and more than once she made comments about rubbing it in her face or using my kids to hurt her, because the kids would not be the same with her. For 3 or so years, we had a very tense dynamic, and my ex was useless. I told him he should be doing better as my co-parent, but he told me his wife was more of a co-parent now. He eventually left the old job and 50-50 began happening. Once 50-50 happened, we had some more issues, mostly because she started calling herself their mom, and I hated that. My kids have only ever called her Ani, and I know they used to say she wasn't their mom, but I admit I was jealous. I also believe that's what she wanted to have happen. I did get it under control because my kids came first, but it was always annoying when she had already gone out of her way to introduce herself to someone as their mom, and then there was confusion because they called me mom. Things sort of calmed over the last 3 years. We're not close. We're not all one big family, but my kids are safe and looked after, and that's what matters to me. I also had them in therapy from a very young age, so that helped them a lot. Ani recently learned that she will not be able to have a biological child of her own. She and my ex were trying for years, and she suffered 3 miscarriages in that time. I'm not sure of all the details, but I do know this was a blow. They found out the final results of the testing last week. My ex told me that he wants the kids to spend more time with them and to be with them for Christmas. I get this year per our custody order. He admitted the kids do not want to be there, but wanted me to agree anyway, because Ani's feelings and helping her. I told him no. He told me again about Ani's feelings, and I told him her feelings were not mine or my kids' problem. He called me a string of names and told me Ani's feelings do matter to them because she is their parent, she is their family, and they should have more compassion and empathy for her. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's like you said, you and your kids are not responsible for Ani's feelings, and when the kids don't want to be there, you're being a good mom by respecting their wishes. Not the a-hole. Your children are old enough now to be choosing who they spend the holidays with. Maybe your ex and Ani can look into the foster care system. So many lovely children, through no fault of their own, need a mom and dad. Not the a-hole. Your kids' feelings are the only ones that matter, and in any case, you have a custody agreement. Do you get to change the custody agreement because of your feelings? No. So Ani's feelings don't get to change the custody agreement. And Ani wanting to use your children as her own surrogate children is incredibly unhealthy. What she needs is therapy to process her feelings. I, 55 male, married my wife, 52 female, 2 decades ago, bringing with her 2 children from her previous marriage, 27 female, 30 male. We also have a child of our own, 19 female. I'm the primary breadwinner. My wife has always been stay-at-home mom to raise all 3 children, and since they have all left, continues to run the house, and I'm more than happy with this arrangement. Most of our joint assets therefore came from my income. Wife came to the marriage with no assets. We are aware that wife's ex-husband has had a windfall of inheritance money, as conveyed by my stepchildren. This means that my stepchildren are set to inherit that windfall if not squandered. Their paternal grandmother and other family members are still in the picture, with possible inheritance that may yet be passed down. Conversely, my biological daughter would not benefit from the inheritance money, and would only benefit from whatever inheritance I can give her. No other relatives in the picture that could support her or leave additional inheritance money. I have therefore chosen, with support from my wife, to will a larger portion of inheritance to my biological daughter. For example, if my wife and I die in an accident tomorrow, we would be leaving about $900K in assets to 19 female and $25K to each 27 female and 30 male. 19 female would have no family support, thus relying entirely on the inheritance money, whereas 27 female and 30 male will still have other family members that can support them. If ex-husband died tomorrow, 27 female and 30 male are likely to receive $250K each in assets, if not more, and will still have us to help support them when needed, as we currently do. When we discussed this with 27 female and 30 male, emphasizing that they are set to receive inheritance from ex-husband, and potentially others on his side of the family, they determined this was unfair, that my assets should be split evenly between 19 female, 27 female, and 30 male. I retorted that if their father died, would 19 female get any of that inheritance? And they said no, because he is not their father. To be fair, they do look up to me and consider me as a father figure, even though I am not their father. Therefore, I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but I see no reason why you ever should have discussed it with the 3 kids in the first place. You and your wife are in agreement. Why ask the kids for their opinion, especially since you're only in your 50s? Not the a-hole. Very telling that they said no to sharing their inheritance because their father is not her father. How is that different from them and you? They are being greedy, OP. You can tell because they think it's unfair when you do the exact same thing to them that they want to do to her. Not the a-hole, as long as you base your argument on their windfall from their biological family and not on the fact that your wife was a stay-at-home wife. Presumably, she did domestic work that often goes uncompensated and would have cost you a lot more if you needed to replace her sacrifice with a housekeeper, babysitter, and cook. I, 27 male, have a son, Riley, 5 male, with my soon-to-be ex-wife, Maria, 29 female. Maria and I are getting a divorce for a few reasons. One reason being that she cheated on me twice. Second being that she was aggressive and neglectful to Riley while I was at work. The first time I caught her cheating, I forgave her for the sake of our son. The second time was when I found out about the aggression, so I decided to divorce her and sue for full custody. However, there's a pretty massive chance Riley isn't mine biologically. When Maria and I separated, she admitted to me that she was cheating on me with 2 men when Riley was conceived, and she only stayed with me because she didn't believe in A, and she knew I'd step up. I don't care about who Riley's biological father is, because I've been his dad for the past 5 years, and everything I've achieved is because of him. I'm pretty successful now, but when Riley was conceived, I was a total loser. I sorted myself out and committed to my goals to be a good dad for him, so there's no way in hell I'm giving him up. However, I've been told to get a paternity test just to be sure, and so I can obtain an accurate medical history for him, so that's what I'm doing. We've sent the test off and now we're waiting. Naturally, I've been extremely anxious about the results. I'm finding myself comparing photos of myself and family members as children with Riley, and my anxiety had manifested itself in impulse spending, mainly on my son. I've remodeled his bedroom, bought him a new bike, and a few other things. I got the bike delivered to my parents' house because I was at work, and when I went to pick it up, my mom asked me to stay for dinner, so I did. My dad was opening up the bike's box with Riley in the other room, and my brother-in-law, who was over with his sister and their kids, asked who had bought it. I said it was me, and he said, "I don't know why you're spending so much on this kid that might not even be yours." Riley barely speaks English. His mother is Latina, and he was speech delayed, so he didn't understand, but everyone else was shocked. I immediately told him to shut the hell up, but he kept going. He said I should have sent Riley to live with his mom's parents until I got the results back, and started saying stuff like Riley didn't even look like me. He said, and I quote, "That B, his mother, cheated on you twice, and she had you raising her brat that wasn't yours. You're a ducking cook, man." His biological father abandoned him when he was a kid, so I replied, "Your biological father didn't even stay to raise you. You're the last person who should be talking about this." That triggered a massive argument, and brother-in-law and my sister ended up leaving. My sister called me a massive a-hole, and she demanded that I apologize to her husband because apparently he's sensitive about his dad. My mom says I was right to bring it up because he was out of line, but my dad says I should have been the bigger person. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. This dude sounds awful. I understand your son wasn't aware of what was being said, but it still boggles the mind that brother-in-law not only said this, but said it in front of your boy. Not the a-hole. Who cares if he's sensitive towards his dad? His dad left him, and he's saying you should abandon your son. That is toxic. Be there for your son, whether he's yours biologically or not. He's still your son, because of your bond and relationship. People adopt all the time. If he's not yours, maybe consider adoption. Although I think that some places allow that if the husband signed the birth papers, then the child is technically his, no matter who donated the sperm. Not the a-hole. Why does the person who was attacked first always have to be the bigger person? Why can't the person who started stuff ever just be the bigger person from the beginning? And your brother-in-law's an a-hole for saying that at all, and doubly so for saying it when your kid was there. Your son may be speech delayed, but I am sure he understands more than you realize.